Phuket's Big Buddha closed for 18 months after a deadly landslide and reopened this year almost without anyone noticing. By the end of this, you'll have a 5-day plan, real tour prices, and 2 restaurants locals actually choose over the beach clubs. We're covering James Bond Island's hidden sea caves, the mansion restaurant that used to be a governor's house, and Freedom Beach's boat-only cove. This is how to spend 5 days in Phuket, Thailand. Let's dive in. Getting there and settling in. Most visitors fly into Phuket International Airport, then take a taxi or grab into the beach areas along the west coast. A metered taxi to Patong runs around $24 and takes 45 minutes to an hour depending on traffic. Base yourself in Patong, Karon, or Kada rather than Phuket town. All 3 keep the beaches, restaurants, and day tour pickup points in this itinerary within a short ride. Accommodation options for every budget are covered in the practical section below. Day 1. Get your bearings. Old Phuket town unfolds in shophouse facades painted mango yellow, dusty rose, and seafoam green. Ironwork balconies strung with red lanterns, and doorways that once hid fortunes made in the island's tin mining boom. The historic quarter is free to wander anytime, and Thaleng Road runs through the best preserved stretch. 2 hours covers the main lanes, the Chin Pracha House Mansion Museum, and a coffee stop, and mid-morning light works best for photographing the pastel facades before the heat sets in. Skip the souvenir stalls clustered near the Tai Hua Museum entrance and walk through Soi Romani in the early morning instead, before the wedding photographers and tour groups arrive, and the lane empties out to just a few residents opening their shutters. 45 meters of white Burmese marble rises out of Knackered Hill at the Big Buddha, and the terrace beneath it lays out Chalong Bay, Kata, and Karon in one sweep. Entry has always been free, and the site stays open from around 6 in the morning until roughly 7:30 at night. Cover your shoulders and knees, or borrow one of the free sarongs at the entrance. 10 minutes downhill, Wat Chalong, Phuket's most important temple, is also free and holds relics believed to be fragments of the Buddha. Tour vans quote around $24 for the return trip up the hill, while a grab booked directly runs closer to $14 to $18 for the same route. Arrive after 4 in the afternoon rather than at midday. The crowd's thin, the marble turns gold in the late light, and the hillside macaques calm down once the heat breaks. Dinner tonight is at Raya, inside a century-old Sino-Portuguese mansion on Dibuk Road that's fed Phuket families since 1994. The kitchen's crab curry with rice noodles and its slow-braised pepper pork are the 2 dishes regulars order without opening the menu, and a full meal runs around $9 to $18 per person. Eating here instead of a hotel restaurant means paying local prices for a recipe that took 30 years to perfect. Tomorrow, the road runs north to an island most people only know from a 1974 spy film. And what's actually waiting in the water around it has nothing to do with the movie. Day 2. Islands and Legends. Every Bond fan comes to Phang Nga Bay hunting for one needle-shaped rock from a 1974 film. But the limestone cave 20 minutes further into the bay never makes it into a single postcard. It's also the reason today is worth booking as a full day instead of a 2-hour photo stop. Suan Kuha Cave Temple hides a 15-meter reclining Buddha inside a limestone cavern dripping with stalactites, and troops of wild macaques patrol the entrance steps like self-appointed doormen. Most day tours from Phuket include the cave as the first stop, with entry bundled into the tour price. From the cave, boats continue into Phang Nga Bay to Koh Phanyi, a Muslim fishing village built entirely on stilts over the water, for a set Thai lunch. A standard speedboat day tour with hotel pickup, lunch, and national park fees runs around $75 to $90, and a slower longtail boat version costs closer to $45. For travelers happy to trade speed for a lower price, skip the souvenir shops crowding Koh Phanyi's main walkway and find the small football pitch built on stilts at the village's edge instead. Local kids still use it every afternoon. Khao Phing Khan and the needle-shaped Koh Tapu rock beside it look exactly like they did in 1974, jutting straight out of jade green water with limestone cliffs framing the bay behind them. The island itself takes 20 to 30 minutes to see, and most tours pair it with sea cave canoeing at Panak or Talu Island, paddled by a local guide through collapsed cave systems locals call hongs. The Awopong Nga National Park fee runs around $9 for adults, usually already folded into the tour price. The photo everyone takes is from the main jetty, packed with boats. Walk 30 meters along the shoreline path instead, and the same rock sits in the frame without another tourist in it. If you want to book that tour directly, the link is in the description. Dinner tonight is at Bon Rim Pa, a teak clifftop restaurant in Kalim that served royal Thai cuisine over the same Andaman sunset for more than 3 decades. The steamed sea bass and the tom yum goong are the dishes the piano bar regulars keep ordering, and a full dinner with drinks runs around $60 per person. Book a terrace table at least a day ahead. The sunset seating fills first every single evening. Tomorrow trades limestone cliffs for open water, and the island waiting at the end of the ride once doubled as a movie set for something far more famous than James Bond. Day 3. Turquoise Water Beyond. Maya Bay on Phi Phi Lay closed completely for 4 years after nearly 1 million visitors wore down its coral reef. It reopened with a strict daily cap and a new pier built specifically to keep boats off the sand. Getting there before that cap fills changes everything about what today actually looks like. Maya Bay's cliffs curve around water so clear, the seabed is visible 30 feet down, the same cove that stood in for paradise in a 2000 film and drew crowds that nearly destroyed it. Full-day speedboat tours from Phuket run around $84 to $105, including hotel pickup, lunch, snorkeling gear, and the $12 national park fee. The boat ride takes around 90 minutes each way, and most tours also stop at Paile Lagoon's Turquoise enclosed bay and Monkey Beach, where long-tailed macaques wade straight into the shallows for food. Boats now queue for a fixed entry slot rather than crowding the beach at once, so the calmest window is either the first landing group in the morning or the last one before the afternoon cutoff. Bamboo Island's ring of coral sits in shallower, calmer water than Maya Bay, with parrotfish and small reef sharks visible without diving below the surface. Most full-day itineraries build in 45 minutes to an hour here for snorkeling, and equipment is included in the standard tour price. The boat passes Viking Cave on the way back, a limestone cliff face still harvested for swiftlet nests used in bird's nest soup. Ask your guide which side of the island the current boat traffic favors that day. The quieter side often has better visibility and far fewer fins in the water. Dinner tonight is at Cob Glue on Phrabrami Road, a roadside Thai restaurant that's fed Patong locals and long-term expats for over a decade. The Tamarind River prawns and the smoked shrimp chili dip are the dishes regulars order first, and a full meal runs around $9 to $15 per person. Eating here after a full day on the water means real Southern Thai spice instead of a tourist menu version. Tomorrow stays on the coast, but trades the boat for your own 2 feet, and one beach on the route has no road leading to it at all. Day 4. Wild Coastline Day. Most beaches on this island sit a short walk from a parking lot. Freedom Beach has neither, which is exactly why it still looks the way Patong did 40 years ago. Getting there means choosing between 2 very different ways in. Kata Viewpoint lines up 3 half-moon bays in a single frame, Kata Noi, Kata, and Karan, with the Andaman Sea stretching out flat and silver behind them. The viewpoint sits on the road between Kata and the Big Buddha turnoff, is free to visit, and needs about 15 minutes. Early morning brings the clearest air and the fewest tour buses parked along the shoulder. Stop at the main platform, then walk another 80 meters south along the guardrail. The same 3 bays open up without anyone else's selfie stick in the shot. Freedom Beach's 300 meters of white sand sit tucked between 2 headlands with no road reaching the shore directly, just jungle on 3 sides and the Andaman Sea on the 4th. Longtail boats leave from the southern end of Patong Beach near the bridge by Amari Phuket, and a round trip runs around $36 to $45 for the whole boat rather than per person. The alternative is a steep jungle trail from the road above, free on the main entrance route, or around $3 through the northern path, taking 15 to 20 minutes down and closer to 40 back up in the heat. Go in the morning before 10. The lounge chairs and the crowds arrive by boat after that, and the sand is nearly empty before then. Promthep Cape marks the southern tip of the island, where the coastline drops straight into the sea and the sunset spreads flat and unbroken across the horizon with no islands breaking the line. The Cape is free to visit and busiest in the 30 minutes before sunset, when the small car park fills completely. A restored lighthouse sits a short walk uphill and stays open until 6 in the evening. Skip the crowded main platform closest to the parking area and walk down the steps toward the lower viewpoint instead, where the same sunset draws a fraction of the people. Dinner tonight is 10 minutes north at Rawai, where open-air seafood restaurants line the fishing pier and sell the day's catch by weight. A whole grilled fish or a plate of stir-fried crab runs around $9 to $18 per person, depending on what came in that morning. Eating at Rawai instead of a resort restaurant means paying pier prices for fish that was still swimming a few hours earlier. Tomorrow moves inland to the one industry that quietly built this island long before tourism did, and it comes with a tasting. Day 5, a slower pace. Chalong Bay Rum is Thailand's only fully French-owned rum distillery, built from local sugarcane instead of the molasses most rum uses elsewhere. It's been running barely a decade and already outsells most imported spirits at Phuket's better bars. The 45-minute tour ends with a tasting that explains exactly why. Copper stills line the open-air distillery floor at Chalong Bay Rum, where French-trained distillers turn pressed cane juice into an award-winning agricole-style rum using techniques imported from Martinique. The distillery discovery tour runs around $14 for a 30-minute guided walkthrough plus tastings, and booking a time slot online beforehand is recommended. The site sits roughly 30 minutes from Kata or Patong by car and stays open through the afternoon. Small bottles bought here run less than half the price of the same rum in the airport duty-free shop, and the lemongrass variety sells out first. Nai Harn Beach curves around a lagoon-still bay backed by a Buddhist monastery and a small lake, with none of the jet skis or beach vendors that crowd Padang or Coron. The beach is free, and the calmest swimming window runs from November through April, when the sea stays flat. A handful of low-key beach bars line the sand for a final lunch or a sunset drink. Skip the crowded stretch near the monastery steps and walk south past the rocks instead, where the water is just as calm and the beach empties out almost entirely. Bangla Road turns from a quiet strip of bars into neon chaos every night after dark, with Muay Thai touts, street food carts, and cover bands all competing for attention across 3 packed blocks. The street closes to traffic around 6 in the evening and stays loud well into the early hours, and walking the full stretch takes about 20 minutes without stopping anywhere. There's no entry fee beyond whatever you choose to spend at a bar or a food cart along the way. Skip the go-go bar touts pulling at every second doorway and duck one street back to the parallel Soi instead, where the same food stalls serve without the constant sales pitch. If you're planning any tours or activities for this trip, I've linked some of the best-rated options in the video description to make things easier. Essential practical information. Transportation. Grab rides between the main beaches typically run a few dollars and cost less than a hotel taxi. Songtheu trucks connect Phuket town to the main beaches for around $1 to $2 per ride. Accommodation. Ibis Phuket Patong covers budget travelers from around $30 a night. A mid-range resort in Kata or Karon runs from around $80. Katathani Phuket Beach Resort on Kata Noi runs luxury rates from around $120. Food. Try muhong slow-braised pork, Hokkien mee noodles, and fresh cashews from a roadside stand near Chalong. Weather and packing. Pack reef-safe sunscreen and a light rain layer even in dry season. Afternoon showers pass through fast. Booking strategy. Book Phi Phi and James Bond Island tours a day ahead online. Big Buddha, Old Town, and the beaches are fine same day. Mistakes to avoid. Underestimating monsoon boat cancellations. Longtail boats to Freedom Beach stop running once rough seas hit from June through October. Showing up expecting one wastes an afternoon. Check the season first. Cramming Phi Phi and James Bond Island into one day. Combined tours promise both islands in a single day, but the piers sit in opposite directions. You'll spend more hours on the boat than at either stop. Book them as 2 separate days. Carrying only a card in cash-only kitchens. Roadside spots in Rawai and Kathu often run cash only, with the nearest ATM sometimes 15 minutes away. A card-only wallet leaves you stuck mid-meal. Carry some cash for the day. Renting a scooter without an international license. Riding without the correct license voids travel insurance after an accident, and Phuket's scooter accident rate runs high. One hospital bill outweighs any taxi fare saved. Stick to Grab unless the paperwork's sorted. The real surprise here isn't the islands or the temples, it's that a French-owned rum distillery, barely a decade old, now outsells most of what Thailand's been exporting for generations. Which of these 5 days would you start with? Drop it in the comments below. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss the next destination guide, and check out the next video for another incredible destination worth adding to your travel list.